Michigan in the Battle Creek City Commission meeting for November 21st, 2023. Thank you for being here tonight. I want to start out real quick, just by wishing our city attorney a happy birthday. Jill, congratulations.
Happy birthday.
We're going to have a moment of silence for our invocation, and then we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance by our Vice Mayor, Sherry Sophia. So if everyone could stand for a moment of silence, and then our pledge by the Vice Mayor. Vice Mayor Sophia.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on our agenda is our roll call. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ballard.
Present.
Commissioner Lance.
Here.
Commissioner Morris.
Here.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Here.
Mayor Banky.
Here.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Present.
Commissioner Simmons.
He should be here in a minute.
Commissioner Smith.
Present.
And Vice Mayor Sophia.
Here.
Thank you very much. And once again, Commissioner Simmons should be here in just a second. I think he may be here and the door was locked. Next item on our agenda is some beautiful Battle Creek Awards. I want to thank and congratulate all the recipients of the beautiful Battle Creek Awards. We will not be able to have everyone in attendance, but I will read their names. The people that will be here, I ask that the ward commissioners join me in front so we can present these same beautiful Battle Creek Awards. Our confirmed attendees are number 1, Troy and Billy Konai, and they live at 51 East Kingman Avenue. And then our second group that said they would be here is from Ward 2, Sunlight Gardens, 245 North Kendall Street. If those people could please make their way up here. I also want to congratulate Ward 1, Terry Sims at 44 Dunning Street. I also want to congratulate Ward 2, Wilma Roberts, 104 Redner. Ward 4, Lindy McKee, 535 Orleans. And Ward 2, Thomas and Maxon. Please join me in front. Our beautiful Battle Creek Awards are our way of just saying thank you very much for going above and beyond and energizing other people in our community and in the neighborhoods to spend time doing those things that make our homes look beautiful. It could be updating your front yard or your nursery, or just doing those things to your house that make it stand out. I think I see a lot of houses nowadays that they're painting the bricks. The bricks were the old brown color, and now they're painted them black. And those type of things really set us above, and I think it encourages other people in our community to also do the same thing. So I want to congratulate, first of all, Troy and Billy Konine, and congratulate you. And I'll try to drive by your house just to check it out. Thanks. There is your beautiful Battle Creek Award. And then we also want to congratulate Sunlight Gardens. Congratulations. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate it. Are there any other of the recipients that ended up making it? Thanks again. I really appreciate everyone's help. Next item on our agenda is Chair no need any added or deleted resolutions.
There were none.
Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is petitions, communications, and reports.
There were none.
Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is introduction of ordinance 18-2023. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
This proposed development, now called Station Side Lofts, is proposed to take place at the former Dolliver Building site at 135 North Washington Avenue, near Fire Station Number 2. According to the developer, the approximately $15 million development will comprise up to 60 units in an up to 4-story elevator-served urban-style building. They indicate the project will have a plethora of modern and desirable amenities and will also feature extensive energy-efficient features, including high-performance housing characteristics, sustainable development characteristics, universal design features, and low-impact construction processes. The developer also indicates the building will feature extensive accessibility features to enable residents to comfortably and securely live independently as they age. This proposed ordinance, number 18-2023, would amend Chapter 882, Real Estate Taxation, by adding Section 23, which will grant a payment in lieu of taxes, or pilot, to the housing development to be known as station side lofts.
I move for the introduction of ordinance 18-2023.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to introduce ordinance 18-2023. The developer is here, and I'd like to ask him to come forward and just make some preliminary comments, and
Yeah.
welcome to Battle Creek.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mayor, Commission members. Do you mind if I hand a few points?
Our policy is to you give it to the clerk, and the clerk will
Absolutely.
distribute it.
There you go.
Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for your time. My name is Pete Schwigerot. I'm with Pivotal. Pivotal's been doing housing development now for about 30 years. We developed, own, and manage around 10,000 units across about 15 states. We are here in Michigan. We have some development up in Grand Rapids, over in Jackson, Saginaw, and continue to work throughout the state. We're excited to be here in Battle Creek. We've been actually working with city staff for several years, trying to identify opportunities to bring high-quality, affordable housing to the community. This city-owned piece of property offered up a great opportunity. What you see there on the first page is a master plan, because this is kind of a multi-phased, multi-generational campus that we want to create here, where we can serve families of all sizes, all ages, within one community, anchored by a core community park in the middle. The first phase, known as Station Side Lofts, is going to be a mix of 1, 2, and 3-bedroom workforce housing units. Our partners here as well, the Battle Creek Housing Commission. Together we will apply for funding through the state. This pilot is not only important for economic feasibility, because with the tax credits, we're able to offer residents housing at a discount to market. And this pilot helps with the financial feasibility by balancing expenses with the incomes that come in from those below market rents. Additionally, a pilot is a scoring item with our funding through the state of Michigan. So it is also going to boost and help us be competitive with the state programs as well. So with that, we're excited. Yeah, this is going to be a green building. It's going to be built to the National Green Building Standard. It's 100% accessible and visitable for residents. And we know there's a great need for workforce housing in your community. We hope you see that need as well, and hope that these, the end result, we're looking at about 46 units of affordable housing. And happy to answer any questions you have about the development. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, you can sit down, and then if we do have any questions, we'll direct them to you. Thank you very much. Are there any other public comments at this time? Yes, John Kennefic.
John Kennefic, 234 South Avenue. This was originally, I was going to speak on Resolution 300, but this is the introduction. They're both on the same project, so I'm going to kind of try to kill two birds with one stone. I pulled up the backup material in regards to Resolution 300, and again, this ordinance. And basically, there's a 5% pilot fee, and according to the gentleman, he's going to be getting tax credits from the state of Michigan, which sounds very similar to the upholdings that happened a little while ago, and the other one that's going to be built over by the Kmart. And it says here in the backup material, per unit, development cost is estimated as approximately $300,000. They're going to have 50 units there at this location, and it's going to cost approximately $15 million. How much of that's going to be from taxpayers or some operation that's involved in taxpayers? I spoke in the previous projects, and it was explained by the Battle Creek Housing Commission that it will be affordable housing. And the cost for the Battle Creek Housing Commission was 30% of the renter's pay, and the rest of the 70% was going to be paid for with taxpayer dollars. We're heading towards $34 trillion debt right now, and if this is not the same as, but similar to the HUD projects back in the 50s, most of them did fail, and there is a reason why they did fail. They were unable to maintain them, and so they fell into disrepair, and they were demolished and destroyed for unlivability. I know that these projects that this gentleman is proposing most likely will not fail, as long as money is coming in from some taxing agency to keep them afloat. I have no problem with affordable housing. I'm just kind of interested in knowing that as we zoom through $34 trillion and each citizen out there, whether they be in the city of Battle Creek or working in some factory in California, has to pay right now $260,000 per taxpaying citizen just for the national debt. This is just an increase. It's not that it's going to be a bad thing, but the thing that I always am concerned about is who's actually paying the bill. And this is just another tax situation. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments at this time? Seeing none, are there any commission comments or questions? Do we have a question of the developer over here? No? Patrick O'Donnell?
Yes, no, I'm excited to have this in our neighborhood up there. I've always thought about having, community service or housing near a fire station. The only thing that I have to ask is, it is a very busy street, and the fire station's there. Has there been any consideration to make sure that there's like a fence or some type of safety barrier for that little corner? Other than that, I love the project. It looks great.
Yeah, as it's planned right now, we will actually create some co-access drives that will be shared with the station, so it's kind of difficult to put a fence there. We will have some outdoor amenities that will be screened properly, landscaped properly. Our playground's going to be fenced in so that it's a secure environment for
Yeah, see,
children.
that's on the opposite side. I
Yeah.
like the placement of that. I mean, it was really
Yeah.
nice. It's just,
The key thing I'll say about the building is it is built with noise attenuation in, so the ringing of the sirens is not going to get inside the building. We do plan to screen that side with landscaping, but because we're actually building a shared access drive that will go around the station, it's kind of difficult to put a fence there.
okay, that was just my concern. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission comments, questions, clarifications? Seeing none, would you please vote on the introduction of 18-2023? The introduction of 18-2023 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is the introduction of ordinance 19-2023. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
This proposed development, Manchester Place, is planned to take place at the former Bronson Behavioral Health Facility, commonly referred to as the Fieldstone site at 165 North Washington Avenue. The subject site consists of 8.81 acres. According to the developer, the development will consist of 3 20-unit, 2-story walk-up apartment buildings that are non-age restricted. The residential units will include a mixture of 1, 2, and 3-bedroom unit types that range in size from approximately 800 to 1385 square feet. Other site features include shared open spaces, a leasing office, central parcel pickup, a community club room, and a fitness center. The overall objective is to expand the affordable housing stock in the city of Battle Creek while also aiding in the growth of the Washington Heights neighborhood. This parcel is currently owned by Bronson Battle Creek Hospital, and the developer is planning to purchase the property from them. The Horizon Group, as developer, has put together a plan to develop and finance it through the use of low-income housing tax credits, LIHTC, through the Michigan State Housing and Development Authority. It would be financed using 9% LIHTC, conventional debt, and the pilot. The project will be developed and financed in multiple phases. This proposed ordinance, number 19-2023, would amend Chapter 882, Real Estate Taxation, by adding Section 24, which will grant a payment in lieu of taxes or pilot to the housing development to be known as Manchester Place.
I move for the introduction of ordinance 19-2023.
Support.
Been moved and supported to introduce the proposed ordinance 19-2023. Are there any public comments at this time? Yes, the developer from Manchester Group, Horizon Group, is here. Welcome to Battle Creek.
Thank you for having me. So very similar to Pivotal's, we're trying to do something that's very similar in structure. Initially, when working with the city, we were proposing an age-restricted. We've actually pivoted from that, and what we're proposing is a more transitional use that we've built around the Midwest for other developer clients and ourselves. It's a two-story, stacked flat, townhome style. It'll be 2 stories in nature, so it'll really provide a transition and a new product type that otherwise isn't readily available. Same funding sources. I guess the difference for us is by looking at a different product type that doesn't have elevators and it's not a 4-story building, we save on costs, which allow us to reduce the funding sources that are needed. We are very excited. We've been welcomed by the city in terms of all the efforts that were needed. We're also ecstatic about partnering with Next Level Sports and Bronson Hospital. All the parties involved so far have made it possible to pull something together. We're new to Michigan. We've done tax credits in Iowa and Wisconsin. We build around the entire Midwest from Minneapolis all the way to South Bend and into southern Michigan. This will be our first project in Battle Creek, but we're excited and available for any questions you guys might have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other public comments at this time? Seeing none, are there any commission comments? Commissioner Morris.
I just wanted to thank you guys for your efforts in trying to get the community involved in this. In addition to New Level Sports being involved, I know that Washington Heights is involved as well, Washington Heights United Methodist Church, which kind of serves as a hub of hope, which is the name of the board. So I really appreciate the efforts of getting the community involved and investing into Washington Heights.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission comments? Also want to thank Bronson, Battle Creek. A lot of times hospitals will abandon their sites, but I think they've been very proactive in working with the developers too. So thank you. Seeing no other comments at this time, would you please forward on the introduction of 19-2023? (19-2023) has been approved. Next item on our agenda is the adoption of ordinance 17-2023. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
In December 2022, Section 1415A of the State Housing Development Authority Act of 1966, Act 346 of 1966, was amended to provide for the availability of an exception from ad valorem taxes for housing projects that provide workforce housing. Unlike traditional low-income pilots where ownership is restricted to a nonprofit entity that is financed with a federally aided or authority-aided mortgage or advance or grant, exceptions for workforce housing are at the discretion of the local municipality. Workforce housing is defined as rental units or other housing options that are reasonably affordable to and occupied by a household whose total household income is not greater than 120% of the area median income. Workforce housing pilots are established by resolution of the City Commission, provided that the city has adopted a workforce housing pilot ordinance, which is the main purpose of this ordinance amendment. This resolution seeks to adopt ordinance number 17-2023 to amend Section 1 of Chapter 882, Real Estate Taxation, to provide for an exemption for workforce housing projects.
I move for the adoption of ordinance 17-2023.
Support.
Been moved and supported to adopt ordinance 17-2023. Are there any public comments? Are there any public comments? Seeing no public comments, are there any commission comments? Seeing no commission comments, would you please vote on the adoption of ordinance 17-2023? The ordinance has been adopted. Next item on our agenda is a public comment regarding consent agenda and resolutions not on the consent agenda. If you'd like to make a public comment regarding the consent agenda and resolutions not on the consent agenda, please raise your hand and we will acknowledge you to come forward to the podium. You will have 3 minutes to make your comments. Please state your name and address before beginning your comment. Indicate which resolution you are speaking to. Are there any public comments at this time? Are there any public comments? Seeing none, we'll go to commission comments regarding meeting business.
Okay, I move for the approval of the consent agenda.
Support?
Been moved and supported to approve the consent agenda. Are there any questions by the commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on the consent agenda? The consent agenda has been approved. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 295. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
The City Attorney's Office is the primary provider of legal services to the city with the exception of labor and employment law, which had been handled by an employee relations director until 2014. Since 2014, this work has been contractually handled with outside counsel. The labor and employment law contract is directly managed by the Human Resources Director. This resolution seeks acceptance of the proposal of best value for labor and employment law services from Schiffman Fournier, PLC, for labor and employment law services.
I move for the approval of Resolution 295.
Support?
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 295. Are there any questions from the commission? Comments? Clarifications needed? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 295? Resolution 295 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 296. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
The Calhoun County Animal Center Incorporated, CCAS, recently went through a board and leadership change at the end of September. New leadership has evaluated the operations, management, and maintenance needs of the shelter. They learned that the operating expenses of the shelter were understated by the previous administration. Therefore, they are requesting an increase in the city's contract amount to allow them to continue operating the shelter. As the only animal shelter in Calhoun County, the city relies on the shelter as our partner, working closely with animal control officers to whom humanely care for a variety of animals. This resolution seeks authorization for a contract amendment to contract number 2018-014C with Calhoun County Animal Center Incorporated for an animal shelter services for revised pricing.
I move for the approval of Resolution 296.
Support?
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 296. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications by the commission on this resolution? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 296? Resolution 296 has been approved. Congratulations. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 297. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Every 5 years, the Parks and Recreation Department updates its master plan in compliance with the guidelines for the development of community park, recreation, open space, and greenway plans as established by the state of Michigan. The guidelines require that a public hearing be held for public review and comment on the plan at some point after the conclusion of a 30-day public review period in which citizens have access to a draft copy of the proposed plan. The public review period for the current plan is between October 26, 2023 and November 26, 2023. This resolution sets a public hearing on Tuesday, December 5th, 2023 for the purpose of reviewing and receiving public comment on the Parks and Recreation Department's 2024-2028 Master Plan Update.
I move for approval for Resolution 297.
Support?
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 297. Are there any comments by the commission? Please vote on Resolution 297. Resolution 297 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 298. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
This is the second of 4 resolutions authorizing the renewal of a special assessment in support of the Dickman Road Business Improvement District. This resolution seeks to direct the city assessor to prepare a special assessment roll for the 2024 project. This special assessment district is tentatively designated as roll number I-024, Dickman Road from M66 westerly to the city limits.
I move for the approval of Resolution 298.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 298. Are there any comments by the commission on Resolution 298? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 298? Resolution 298 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 299. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Resolution number 46, dated January 19, 2021, approved a contract with Odebeer Instrument Company for the service, repair, and calibration of the instrumentation and controls at the water and wastewater treatment plants. The water and wastewater treatment plants are now requesting to continue to contract services with this same company. The water and wastewater treatment plants' processes are operated and controlled by specialized electronic equipment that is proprietary to their respective industries. The contractor, Odebeer Instrument Company, has a dedicated business to assist municipalities with their water and wastewater instrumentation and control needs. This resolution seeks authorization to award a contract for the routine service, repair, and calibration of the instrumentation and controls at the water and wastewater treatment plant to Odebeer Instrument Company in a 3-year, not to exceed $137,795.78 plus pre-authorized parts and labor that might occur outside the scope of work.
I move for the approval of Resolution 299.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 299. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications needed by the commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 299? Resolution 299 has been approved. Our final resolution of the evening is Resolution 300. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
On May 25, 2018, the city purchased from the federal government the parcel of land that is the subject of this resolution at 135 North Washington Avenue for $1, subject to the restriction that it must be used for emergency responses. After various assessments and studies, it was determined that it would be too expensive to renovate the property to enable it to be used for emergency responses. Recognizing the city's urgent need for affordable housing, and with available ARPA dollars, the city paid $815,000 to the federal government to remove the deed restrictions that had limited the city's use of this property. Assistant City Manager Ted Deering has worked with the developers to put together the terms to sell the property in order for the developer to construct up to 60 units of affordable housing to be known as station-side lofts, and to include other amenities to improve the neighborhood and the life of the intended residents of this development. The sale of this parcel for a total of $900,000 would recoup the ARPA dollars paid out for the purchase to make it available for another approved use and provide urgently needed housing for low-income individuals and families. This resolution seeks authorization for the city manager to enter into a purchase agreement for the sale of land at 135 North Washington Avenue, formerly known as the Dolliver Building, identified by parcel number 52-2080-00-002-0 for the construction of a housing development.
I move for the approval of Resolution 300.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 300. Are there any comments by the commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 300? Resolution 300 has been approved. Thank you very much for your investment in Battle Creek. Next item on our agenda is general public comment. If you'd like to make general public comment regarding matters over which the City Commission has control, please raise your hand and wait for us to acknowledge you to come forward to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes to make your comment. Please state your name and address prior to beginning your comment. Are there, David Moore?
These two resolutions on the housing tonight, on this house we introduced tonight, it sounds like a good project. It's going to do a lot of good for the people. I don't know too much about it. Because taxpayers going to get the big fun of it, I see. And however, I'd like to learn a lot more about these two resolutions, but they're good resolutions and good for the community, but I don't know that much about it, so it sounds like it's a good thing, and I don't know if I'm for or against it yet. Okay.
Thank you, David. Any other public comments at this time? Kathy, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners. Kathy Antea, Park Ridge Drive, Battle Creek, just in case you weren't sure. I just want to reiterate my support for the countywide transit authority that we spoke about 2 weeks ago, or that I spoke about 2 weeks ago. I believe that public transportation is a necessity for our community. However, I want to make sure that the city of Battle Creek continues to maintain and improve its current system, because that's more important to me. Thank you, Commissioner. I see that. And I wanted to know that I did some due diligence. Thank you, Commissioner. And so I'm really concerned that our city of Battle Creek Transit doesn't suffer from a county-wide transit authority. So thank you for keeping an eye on that. Secondly, as many of you know, I'm pretty involved with the unhoused community here in Battle Creek. I do a lot of work with a whole bunch of different folks and organizations. And I recently watched a video that was produced by Bishop Tino Smith and the Kingdom Builders. I had heard that Brenda Hunt from the Battle Creek Community Foundation had approached Bishop Smith and asked if the Kingdom Builders could take over the 209 homeless shelter on East Michigan Avenue. Because of that, I watched the video, and in it, Bishop Smith suggested there is a possibility that the 209 homeless shelter could close. He actually said that. That was within the first couple of minutes of his video. However, he did say he did not want to see that, and that he was desperate for assistance, and in fact even has, so I heard he was going to be taking over only until the end of the year, and then now on that video it sounds like he's taking it over until the next person takes it over. I'm not quite sure. But for those of you who don't know the history, 209, and that's what people on the street call it because no one wants to stay at a shelter, and no one wants to live at a homeless shelter, for sure. But anyways, for those who don't know, 209 was purchased and it was opened at the beginning of the pandemic as an answer to a desperate need for low-barrier overnight shelter. And this overnight shelter was to partner and collaborate with the Share Center. The Share Center would move into the adjacent office building, which is the second building on the property, and continue to provide services like it has for the last 30 years. Mental health services, health referrals, ID and records location services, peer support, counseling services, as well as food service. The 209 shelter, the overnight shelter, was to focus on overnight sleeping accommodations. We desperately needed that. But that collaboration fell apart in a few months because the second of the two buildings could not get an occupancy permit. So Share Center, all the boxes that I moved into the building, we moved all the way back to the Share Center existing thing because we couldn't get an occupancy permit. I'm not even sure why the property was built if they couldn't have room for occupancy with the Share Center, but that's another question. Anyways, about the Bishop Smith video.
Kathy, thank you very much for your comments.
Please watch it. Thank you.
Are there any other? Yes.
Hello, I'm Jackie Martins. I just took over the Calhoun County Animal Center. And I just want to thank every one of you for passing, this. It's going to mean a lot to the animals. We have a lot of good ideas to make their lives better. And I just want to say thank you so much, because we couldn't have done it without you, so.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Martin. We look forward to working with you, too. And I know the community really supports the animal shelter.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, so thank you all.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments? Yes, ma'am, in the back row. Yes, you.
Christina Smith, 75 Keith Drive. I just wanted to remind everyone in this room about how difficult it is for the people who currently need the bus system. They're still having problems making their schedules. Bad transit doesn't hurt anyone unless they depend on it. And people are still unaware of the changes, so they're getting caught out and ending up waiting 2 hours for the next bus. It's getting colder now. That's going to become a real problem for a lot of people. The riders are hurt by the loss of this service. It's how they get to work. It's how they get to their doctors, to their pharmacy, to see their friends, to the library. There's nothing unnecessary in transporting for those things. It's just basic needs. The roads that are in place should be used not just by automobiles, but they should be used by buses and taxis and bicycles and pedestrians. They're not just there for car drivers. I wonder if buses are part of the Battle Creek City environmental plan, and is there an environmental plan for the city? I've gotten conflicting reports about that. Again, bad transit doesn't affect anyone unless they need it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other public comments at this time? Jerry Steiner, please come forward.
Jerry Steiner, 115 South 26th Street. Now, we done been over this bus fiasco for a couple of years, and I stood in front of you when you raised the bus prices for 40%, thinking you could shift the weight to the poor people. Didn't work out like that. Let me tell you what this bus system done. Now, the bus that runs on Columbia and Territorial, the last bus is 2:35. What about them people that work at Burger King and Arby's and all them other places, and they can't get off till 4 o'clock? They got to find another way, right? I got to tell y'all, grandmama say, don't pay attention, pay attention, because you're not paying attention to what the people are telling you. The people are telling you that they need the bus system to get to the doctor, to get to work, to get back and forth to their friends, to do what they need to do. Now, generally, and I say generally, y'all pretty good solid body, but the proposals and the amendments and all that stuff don't pay the bills, not for the people that ride the bus. And as far as the homeless is concerned, hey, I've been beating the drum on that for a long time, but I understand that bureaucracy, and I had a confidant I talked to the last couple of weeks, and this gentleman told me that there's a division between housing and education. And if it is, it must be lacking. Let me tell you what I do. I run into a few students, black and white, and I asked them one of the most simple questions in the world. Who's the 16th president of the United States? Couldn't nobody tell me. Could not none, black or white. So that tells me that the Battle Creek education system is leaking. Was leaking when I was coming through. I never knew until I was about 15 or 16 that George Washington owned over 100 slaves. Thomas Jefferson owned over 600. The first 7 presidents all owned slaves. So what we're saying is, if we're going to have some kind of equality and not deal in hypocrisy, because that's what's coming back to bite us in the butt now, hypocrisy. Think about it. anytime a group of people get together and get behind an insurrectionist who very well might be president, I don't think he'll ever be president again myself, you know. But look here, y'all. Let's get to the root of these problems, and maybe, just maybe, in these last 14 seconds that I got, y'all can understand what I'm talking about, because I come to you on a lot of things. But like, we got to get this housing and this busing together. In the interim, as I always do, peace.
Happy Thanksgiving. Mary? I didn't think you were here, Mary, because you had that beautiful hat on, but thank you.
Mary Bourgeois, 231 Springview Drive. Since Thursday is Thanksgiving, and I'm very grateful for the service that y'all provide. I have a small token. Can I give them tokens?
You can give them to the clerk, and the clerk will distribute them.
So they're just, but if you don't want them, I want them back. 'Cause it's just milkweed seed, a native pollinator to Michigan. And we've got the common pink one as well as the lovely orange one. So again, I'm very grateful to all of you for serving our community and making Battle Creek a wonderful place for me to live. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, for your kindness. We really appreciate it. Okay, are there any other public comments? John?
John Kennevic, 234 South Avenue. I'll speak in regards to public transit a little bit in the city of Battle Creek. Every time I pass a bus, a large bus of the transit of Battle Creek, usually there are very few people in it, or it's empty. Several years ago, the City Commission approved a $100,000 propane tank for the propane buses. And I talked to a friend of mine who is a lot more knowledgeable, and he was explaining to me the British thermal units between propane, a gallon of propane, versus fuel oil, and the deliverance of that power to drive a bus. And the reason why you did this, of course, to take in propane, is if it was less expensive, you could use that as a fuel than fuel oil. So there's a cost savings there. So I've often wondered what that savings is per year that the city government is saving and where that money goes. That's basically it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Any other public comments? Any commission comments? Commissioner Reynolds.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to wish my colleagues a happy Thanksgiving to you and your families. Be safe.
Same to you. Thank you very much. Commissioner Patrick O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mayor. Mary, thank you for the milkweed. It'll go in the front of my yard. We got a little small garden up there, so thank you. Talking about transportation, too, it seems to be a topic tonight. I watched a show about some other cities. They've had unique, different ways of trying to take care of their transportation problems. I mean, we have multiple problems with this right now because of we need to have it filled, bus drivers, on time, longer hours. This one community came together and they decided to do automobiles. Something different. I don't know how much that would cost us, but we need to, if we're going to try to tackle this problem, it's not just we can't look at it like we've been doing buses since, 1940. It's time that we get together and do some type of overlook and say, we're living in this times now, we have different ways of making this happen. Ride-sharing programs, meeting at different places, different, maybe alternate bus stop locations. As I always say, somehow we always found a way to get to high school. Maybe that's a gathering place where we can help our fellow citizens out to get to where they need to go and other projects like that. It's good. It's going to take something like that. If anybody out there hears my voice, think of something different, a different plan. Accept anything. Let's try something new if this is such a big problem, which I believe it is. There's people that just can't get to the store to get their groceries, especially, I feel so bad, it's right now, it's Thanksgiving time. And you want to have a couple people over. You don't have to have a big dinner, but you want to bring something home special for the day. So let's citizens of Battle Creek, let's get our innovation together and come up with something that we can call our own and help out with this. Same with housing, we seem to be moving forward this evening. Thank you for the people that are coming out front and taking these investments and trying to at least get something done with the housing. I want to thank all the citizens and everyone that showed up to the Battle Creek Parade this last weekend. Looked like everybody showed up, all their kids there. Someone must have played the Pied Piper and got them all downtown. I don't know, but it was great. I'm happy for you all. And again, thank you, Commissioner Reynolds, for the happy Thanksgiving, and happy Thanksgiving to you and everyone here. Enjoy your loved ones this weekend, and just enjoy living in Battle Creek. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Ballard?
I just wanted to say thank you to the parade officials that put it on. I think it was one of the best parades I've seen here. I was shocked at the number of kids that were out there, all ages, and particularly the ones that are like 4 and 5, and they were just excited to be out there, including Commissioner Smith's kids. So, and thank you for bringing them out, and thank you for the Thanksgiving, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission comments? Seeing none, we'll adjourn our meeting. Thank you for attending. Have a good Thanksgiving.